start to install a program where you get some files and your scanner finds it, what do you recommend as far as reporting or something of that nature?
Well, the first thing you want to do is a full system scan. In other words, it's seen a file, seen you touch a file perhaps. So you want to make sure it hasn't infected other stuff that you don't see. So you want to do a full system scan. And is it a file or is it a registry key?
Well, no,
It's a whole bunch of both. Yeah, you probably got an infection.
No, I mean, my question is really, what do you recommend we do as far as reporting it to people? So it's been caught. What do we do as far as reporting?
Okay, when you scan it, this virus total and Janie Malware scan, they'll submit it for you automatically to all those vendors.
Okay, well, okay.
And the other thing you can do is your antivirus vendor, they have in their support area a place where you can submit a suspicious file if you need to get it analyzed.
Well, I was just thinking if they caught it, it's not always the same. It may be historic, whatever, type thing. So you do recommend actually going ahead and notifying your companies and stuff like that?
Send it in, yeah. Submit the sample.
Send them the virus.
If they're already detecting it and you suspect it might be a false positive, that's another thing. That's when you want to submit it and find out for sure. Because with heuristics these days, that's behavior based. And so it can catch some good stuff.
Yeah. False positive.
False positives, they happen. But your vendor of that, I can't think of very many that don't have a way to submit a false positive to find out.
The scariest thing's been happening to me recently is I haven't been getting any notifications. I haven't seen any pop-ups that here's a bad file or whatever. So it's kind of scary when nothing is hitting.
Well, sometimes it's just coming into your box. If it has an email scanner and it does detect it, it'll pop up. But sometimes they don't launch into action until you try to actually go and open that attachment. So if you're deleting your emails, and because it's from, you suspect you're deleting it, then you're fine.
Some ISPs will delete them too. They'll strip them right off. I know Breakhouse does that.
When with some of these detections, this is more curiosity than anything else. When we run whatever virus scan and it catches a file, is it looking for specific signatures or just things that it already knows? Like, okay, I know what NIMDA is because it's exactly this, or it's NIMDA-like, so I'm going to capture this as well. Does it do signatures as well? Is that
most antivirus have both available.
Yeah.
Heuristics is the behavior-based.
Okay.
It looks like.
Yeah.
But it's brand new. We don't have the signature for it, which is the file
That'd be
hash.
impossible to just go off signature. That'd just be impossible.
I don't know. There's
Because
some smart people out there. That's why I'm asking.
Because there'd be so many variations that it just would not be practical.
Well, then that would be some of our false positive stuff, right?
Exactly. That's why what the heuristic has to do, because it's on behavior, not on signature. So something I'm curious about is I know I've read, in the past about Microsoft being more aggressive going after companies for malware. How successful has Microsoft and other companies been at being able to stop these type of practices, or is it like holding back the ocean type
Turn
of
everything
situation?
off, you'll find out.
Yes, and there are some organizations that are working on the law enforcement end to track down these guys, and if they're in the U.S., they've got a pretty good chance.
Well, is there anyone that keeps statistics to say that, okay, the level is going down, or I know nowadays because people can take maps and they can map out, okay, this virus is prevalent in this area, and they can actually see where it's moving. I didn't know if that type of technology is allowing companies to better control these types of things from happening, or
generally your software vendors are not able to do that because they're so busy keeping up with the new malware and adding the protection to their program. But there are organizations that do try to track these. It's very difficult when you get into unfriendly areas.
But I mean, they
law
don't have any.
enforcement wise, in Russia, Ukraine, China,
But
a lot of these are coming out of there, and there's not a lot we can do because they think this stuff is legal.
Right, but
Or
I
they
mean,
still want to
is there any statistics on this? Because you know, one of the things is, first of all, you have to know where the problem's coming from to be able to start to address it. You know, as opposed
Statistics
to
on new
you know, you just
malware?
pardon.
Statistics on new malware?
Yeah, and, well, things like malware, viruses, when they start infecting computers, you know, it's like someone getting a disease.
Yes,
you know,
they
first
do.
you have to know that, you know, there's a disease somewhere in your body, and then that's going to allow you to say, okay, this is the area I'm going to start, you know, attacking this particular area
Yes,
and trying
each
to
of-
control it.
Each of your software companies, again, your big companies, are tracking what is being found on systems. And Microsoft has one of the best collection tools in that MSRT, the Malicious Software Removal Tool.
So is there anyone that actually, you know, puts out statistics
Yes.
on
All the companies do, it's on their website,
which website this is? Microsoft even,
your antivirus program.
well, one,
Pick one.
I don't even use the
Semantic.
I just use what's built into Vista Ultimate. I don't
McAfee,
even use the
Trend
antivirus.
Micro's tracking it. They'll show you all over the globe. Microsoft puts out a report every 6 months that is very comprehensive on where we're heading with the malware scene.
So they can show like gross or, you know, it going down, I mean.
Yes. There are also sites that they track all sorts of things. I mean, they're out there. Usually the first place you want to go is to like your major antivirus, if you're interested in those statistics, or to Microsoft, and look into the virus information area. They usually have an encyclopedia of all the known, you know, and the behaviors.
Right.
They also track the numbers, and they'll show you a globe and what's really prevalent right now, and hot threats over the last 24 hours versus the last 30 days versus the last month.
Okay, now even in general, if someone goes back through the years, are companies saying, okay, the problem's getting a lot worse, or, you know, we slowed it down a little bit, but it's still growing, or, you know, what is being seen in
Okay,
general?
F-Secure is an antivirus company, and they put out a report that said for 2007, the new malware identified exceeded the entire previous 10 years. Just that 1 year. And it's charted. You know, you go to look for these, and it's over a timeline, it's going like this.
It's becoming an exponentially growing problem then.
I have a question from the web. They want to know what your opinion is on why digital signing hasn't basically stopped the spam problem more than it has.
I honestly don't know. I'm not a spam expert. I personally don't get much, really, but I'm not a spam expert. I can't answer that.
Okay.
I don't know
and
why
just-
people aren't, you know, why it's not. But there's, again, it's like the malware. You plug one hole and they find another to slip through.
Another announcement was just made on there is, if anybody didn't know today, the mouse is 40 years old. The mouse.
I love the mouse.
I thought Mickey was old.
I know, that's my first thought.
So I rarely use the mouse now, I just use my touchpad.
I hate touchpads.
I do too.
That's what a lot of people have a problem with the touchpad.
With these things?
Yeah.
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 Mine's actually very good. I like it.
Yeah.
Mine works pretty well.
I just feel like bringing my mouse in.
Ooh, Brian Scarbo's online.
God, I'm asking why he's
I just sent him the link. I don't know. I just sent him the link to the page. And he's our founder.
Yes.
Oh, actually, yeah, you know who Brian is.
Yeah. Well, sort of, through.
Yeah.
Tell him we're waiting for him.
Oh, there was one question I wanted to ask you about is I forget the software that people run to get a list of all of the problems on the computer. Usually when people get an infection.
Diagnostic tools.
Yeah, what's that one